What is up, everybody? Got an interview here. Haven't had one in a long time, but this one I'm extremely, extremely excited about. I'm a huge country music fan, and I've been following this guy for several months now. And I reached out to him over Facebook and asked him for an interview, and by God, he responded. So I'm extremely excited about this one. On the phone, I have Brandon Bing, country artist. How are you doing today, man?
Good. What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm excited about this interview. I've been listening to your music for several months now, and I guess you could say I'm a huge part of Hoss Nation.
Hey, I appreciate it, man, and I appreciate just everybody that's been giving me a lot of support and love on the music for this project that's out right now, man, and got a lot of good things coming. So thanks for having me on here today.
Not a problem, man. I'm like I said, I'm excited, and the fact that you responded over Facebook, makes it that much more exciting for me.
Yeah.
You know, and any of your autograph experiences, would you say you've signed anything weird or out of the ordinary?
I'd say, well, out of the ordinary. I mean, I have had some different autograph experiences, but honestly, the most unique one was when it was actually last year. I was in Waycross in Blackshear, Georgia, and I was helping my buddies that I was with Demon and the Lax. They have the Lac Fest. It was a Lac Timber, Lactoberfest that they
Yep.
have, or Lac Timber Fest. I'm sorry, that they had last year. And so we were out there setting up. I was with my buddies Quinn, who plays fiddle for Demon, and also Nate Kingan, who's done some tracks with Demon and also with the Lax and everything like that. And just having an opportunity to just be there for a good, fun, family-friendly event. And I was just trying to just take certain things in, kind of have my own little mental pen and pad going on,
Yep.
taking notes, watching their performances set to set. And it was fun, man. There was a lot of people that turned out, and between, like I said, the Lax and Demon and Hard Target and Simple Man and everybody, it was a fun weekend. But I remember in particular, in between sets one time, I was by the side of the rail backstage, and there was a group of fans that were waiting to try to see if they could get an autograph with with the Lax and with Demon and some of the other artists that were playing on the ticket by the side. And this one gentleman, man, that he was sitting there with his family, and he's like, man, I've been watching you. And I was like, me? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I've seen you a few different shows and stuff. And he's like, people keep talking about you. And I'm like, oh man, I appreciate it. And I had only had one single out at the time. It was my first single, which was Sunday Fun Day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in the process of, at that point, going to be going in to record this first project that's out right now, the Florida Man EP, in November. So I was still definitely real green when it came to that. But just being around and building the friendships I've had with those artists and being on those tour runs and things like that with them and help them with the stage and stuff, he just saw that like work ethic, and it just meant a lot to me to have someone notice me when I was on the bottom of the of the totem pole. And he had this rebel flag back there.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, would you mind signing this flag? And I was like, yeah, man, no problem. It's not a big deal. And he, leaned it over, I think it was his son, if I recall, and I think his wife and maybe like their son's girlfriend or daughter or something like that. They're out there, so they stretched it out over his back, and he gave me a permanent mark, and I'm like, okay. And I was like, where do you have any particular spot you want me to sign on the flag? Just out of respect and everything like that. And he come back and he's like, hey man, he said, if you could do me a favor, he's like, I want you to sign right there. I'm like, well, that's the center of the flag. And he's like, yeah. He's like, you see that star in the middle of that X? And I was like, yes, sir. And he's like, I want you to sign right there. And I was like, you right in the middle of the flag? And he's like, yep. He's like, that's what I said. He said, listen, he said, I've only seen you a few times, over the last several months, this and that, at different shows. And he's like, I finally got a chance to meet you today. And he's like, but you got a fan for life. And he's like, just your hunger is really inspiring. And I was like, really, man? And I was like, he's like, I saw you when I was over there helping with the Lax merch table and trying to help them sell merch when they're trying to get set up, and just moving through all this stuff, trying to help them, and just selling, right? And he saw me just going place to place, and he looked at me. He said, you know what? He said around here, he said, this neck of the woods, he said, your family up here, man. He said from this point forward, he said, the moment you sign that flag, he's like, you need anything, we're here. And he's like, we'll be at your shows. He's like, we'll be telling people about it. And he's like, the reason why I'm having you sign the middle of that flag on that star, he said, because you're a star. And he's like, you're going to be a star one day. And I was like, man. And it just gave me like kind of chills to have a random, good old boy just out there like that, little cowpoke from Florida, and then just be in that kind of environment and that energy. And I've been to that part of Georgia, many times since I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I go up there frequently, even to this day. But to be at an event and something that I have such a passion for in country music, and to be a part of that moment was just real special. And I have to say that was definitely the most unique autograph opportunity, just because of the story that went with it. And it just really pushes me as a songwriter, and more importantly, just as an artist, man. I'm trying to, like you said, this Hoss Nation, I'm trying to build this Hoss Nation to be this lifestyle and this culture. And to have people like that, give me the support when I'm a nobody is, it means it's worth more than its weight in gold, as I'm on this climb and as I go on this journey, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. That's a fantastic story, and that's just that exact example right there is,
It just gives me a different, you and I were talking a little bit before this interview kicked off, and it's just kind of like, just the standpoint of everybody is human, and like all of us people, it doesn't matter what you do for a living. You do it for a living either because that's the career path you want, that's the passion that you have, and that's the reason why the world's such a beautiful place, because we have people that have the ability and skill to do all these different things. And for me, it's just like a constant reminder of whenever you're having you're exhausted and tired and beat up, or you had a long day at work, or in my case, whether it's me doing something with my solar company, or working with my whiskey line, or writing songs, or performing, they all have different layers to who I am, and they all have different priorities to who I am. But it shows me as a musician that I'm just like, I can still be like everybody else. Just because I'm doing music doesn't make me any better than anybody else, doesn't make them less than me. And that's honestly the most rewarding part of it, is just being able to meet people like that. And that was last year. What's going to be in 5 years when or the next 5 years when I run into him again, or see him at this show, or I hit this major milestone as a musician and artist, and be able to go back to those same people that have been with you from the very beginning.
The day ones, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like those people right there, man. In a word, are your foundation.
Yeah, I can fully understand that, and the day ones, they're, I don't want to say more important than the people that come along afterwards, but they definitely hold a special place for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And is there a individual or a person, or someone that asked for your autograph that you were kind of surprised by, like, holy crap, that person, or that person just asked for my autograph?
Yeah, actually, I had this was just kind of random, but I remember it wasn't last year, it was the year before last, because we didn't have the CMA Fest this year.
Right.
But the year before last, I was up in Nashville, and I was right on Lower Broadway, and there was this ABC studio. Actually, I had just come through this thing, and had a chance to Lane had just won American Idol, so they were doing this little kiosk thing, and I was in there, and then I wound up getting interviewed by ABC um, about Lane and about a couple things with his music where he's going as an up and coming artist. So that was a cool opportunity. And as I was walking out of this tent and left where Lane was at, I ran on the side. There's this putt putt challenge that they were doing with, I think it was with some show. I don't know if it was on ABC or not, but it was something they were doing like that. And if you putted and you made it or something, you won some type of prize. Well, this random guy, like out of nowhere, I'm sitting there in line. I'm talking, like I said, I was just finishing this interview with ABC, and I turn, and some dude, like this fella, just like tapped me on my shoulder, and I was just like, and I thought it was my other buddy that was with me, and then I was like, all right, whatever. Maybe I thought. Then I felt it again, and I turned. He's like, Brandon. I'm like, I don't know you. He's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to startle. He's like, I didn't mean to startle you. He's like, I know you don't know me or nothing. He's like, I'm a huge fan. He's like, I'm from Illinois, and I was like, you're from Illinois? And he was like, yeah, man. He's like, man, I listen to your music every weekend, this and that. I was like, man, that's cool. And I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, listen every weekend. I'm like, I only got one song out right now. And he's like, every Sunday, man, I bump that Sunday Fun Day, and I was like, man, that's so cool. And he's like, and I watch everything on your Instagram and your Facebook and your lives when you do covers. And I was like, man, that's awesome. He's like, man, he's like, I know you just are in the process of going to be cutting that project this year, and I can't wait to hear it when you release it. And I'm like, man, that means a lot. And he was like, no, man. He's like, you're doing it. You're doing it. He's like, don't stop. You're going to keep going. And I was just like, there's the one thing that's so similar with so many people in those instances when I meet them for the first time is they're so like overwhelmingly just proud of me. And it's like a complete stranger is proud of you, which is just such a like awkward but humbling feeling.
Yeah, I got you.
Because it's like, whoa, that's a weirdo. It's like, holy mackerel, like what am I doing? Whatever I'm doing, keep doing that, because that's what's making them, that's what they like.
Exactly.
And I had a girl that randomly Facebook messaged me that had gone to one of my show. The one actually came to my release party on this Florida Man EP when I did it at the barn in Sanford, and it was a little bit ago, man. And it was these are two kind of interesting little segues, if you don't mind me to talk about them.
Yeah,
But
go for it.
the one was she sent me a message and she said thank you, and she asked me a couple questions, and I responded back to her, this and that. And then her final message was, thank you, Brandon, for being real and being authentic and staying sincere. She's like, it's so hard to come by these days. And she said, every time that someone leaves a comment on one of your posts, or every time someone sends you a private message, you always respond, and you have always something to say. And
I
she's
can
like, I
attest
just
to
want,
that.
yeah, man. And she was like, she wanted to thank me for it. And I was like, that meant so much coming from her. And then what was it? A couple weeks ago, this guy Mikey that plays college football out in California. He sent me a message, and when he sent me this message, he was going through a rough time. He's going to be a senior in college this year. With the pandemic and going on, they canceled the senior football season.
Right.
And so he's, the sport he's played is, pretty much his whole life. Now he doesn't even get to finish in his eyes, close that chapter, because the pandemic stripped that season away from him, and he's going to graduate. So, eligibility, shoulda, coulda, woulda, whether it was going to the pros or just even just finishing the season to, close that chapter of his college career.
Right.
He doesn't get that opportunity. And it was really bothering him. And I think he wrote me at like midnight or something like that. And I fell asleep, I guess, that night and woke up was like 7 something. I happened to go through my messages, and I seen a message from him, and it was like 7:20, 7:30 in the morning. I wrote him the next morning, and I just told him, I said, you know what? I said, don't let it. I said, don't. He's like, I don't mean to bother you, this and that, but I just wanted to share this, these feelings. And he's like, the one thing that I've always respected about you, and that so many people always are talking about, is that with your fans, that you always engage with them, and you always talk to them, and you always answer. And he was like, he's like, I know you're real busy and stuff, but I wanted to just ask you this, your thoughts on this. And he went through that story,
Mm-hmm.
and we looked at it, and I just kind of put myself in his shoes for a minute. I said to him, I wrote him back, and I said to him, I said, don't look at this as a negative, as much as it's a horrible feeling, and as much as it's really affecting you personally. There's a positive to this. The positive is that you have the opportunity to play the last 3 years in a game that you love. You've built friendships with people that are going to last a lifetime on your team. You've been through wins and losses. All the good, the bad, and the ugly you've experienced, whether it's practice, partial pad and full pad, or whether it was playing in a scrimmage or preseason or a game or a championship. You went through all that. And at the same time, you were able to successfully maintain your education and keep moving forward to your senior year.
Absolutely.
So I said that's something that you should be basically, patting yourself on the back and jumping up for joy on that, because that there's so many athletes that play college sports that struggle to be able to be eligible to play because they can't keep their grades up. And for him to be able to maintain his grades wherever he needs to be to be able to maintain eligibility and play and have all those memories and all those experiences, I was like, dude, I said, brother, you can't take that away. And I said, the best thing about it is you're going to graduate, you're going to get through this year, and there's so many more amazing opportunities that are going to come that you don't even know about yet. And I said, whatever those opportunities are going to be, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You just got to just stay on track and just keep and just believe and just walk, day by day, step by step. And, you just go turn the page to this, after you graduate, you'll turn the page on this new chapter, and you'll be pleasantly surprised with what's to come, And he came back, and he was just like, man, he's like, thank you so much. And I said, I said, Hoss Nation family for life. And I said, I said, I'll be here with you every step of the way, just like anybody else. And I said, we're here for each other. That's what this is we're here for each other. And I said, if you ever need something, you just holler at me. And, anything I can do to talk to you or help you out, that's what I'm here to do.
Absolutely.
And like I said, it just made his day, but it just kind of ties all those things together, that the guy in Nashville that I didn't know out of nowhere to a couple of fans. And I tell everybody this, and I say it on lives all the time. I said, I understand, I appreciate when people call themselves fans, but I don't want you to be fans. I want you to be family.
Family.
I said, this Hoss Nation movement, this is a family. This isn't about being fans. And I hope that eventually it'll get to a point where it spreads like a wildfire, where people see it like that and just keep wanting to hop on to be a part of it, and to get somewhere one day where it's just something really special in people's households. And that would truly be the most special thing that I could accomplish as an artist, and most importantly, just as a storyteller, telling these, sharing my experiences or telling the stories that other people can't put out there in a song, and sharing those moments with everybody that supports me.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I that's just, I just can't think of a better way to put it, It's just, to, especially in these weird times, like you were saying, we're all in this together. We're all family, especially in some of, the weirdest times that, I'm 32 years old, the weirdest time in mine.
Same here.
Oh, nice. And, we just all got to come together, no matter how famous or non-famous, or, whether you're a country musician or an automotive technician, or, you're a banker or a teller. Especially in these times, man, we just got to come together and be family.
Oh, yeah. And if we can do that, then we're gonna not just prosper, but we're gonna be our country and our nation is just gonna be a totally different experience and dynamic that it's never seen in the 200 plus years that we've been an independent nation.
I can't agree I can't agree with you more. And the third and final question is it's just meant to be a fun one, and one of my favorite
Sure.
questions to ask anybody is if you have anybody's autograph in the world, whether they're dead or alive, past or present, whose would it be?
If I could have dead or alive, anybody's autograph. Mm. Dead or alive.
Yep.
Dang. Some of them I have, so I can't say those. So someone I don't have. I would say either Waylon Jennings or Hank Senior, for sure, hands down. Just because they're just such big influences from that era of music.
Exactly.
In part of my style. So definitely I would love to have an autograph from either one of them, and also the opportunity to have I wish I could have met him as well, but
absolutely. Yeah. I agree with Hank Senior. He's up there on my list, and even through like auctions, eBay, and stuff like that, I've never seen one of his autographs listed. So I'm guessing if one ever did become available, it would be way out of my price range.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, it's just I know a lot of people say, oh, well, everybody says this. I'm like, I really don't think that many people. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not saying that Hank Singer's name doesn't come up a lot in country music or Waylon, but I don't know how many people actually would, because I for some reason, I could be wrong. You do these interviews, obviously,
yeah,
and I don't, but but when it comes down to it, I would think more people are more caught into stuff that is relevant that they actually know that
exactly
exists today. So I would gather that you would have more people that would be mentioning names of current day, or even either recently retired or artists that are maybe on their, not necessarily on their way out, but just aren't putting out as much or no new material, but are still alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pretty much. A lot of people watch, Bonanza and things like that growing up. Just that whole Hoss synergy came from, kind of like Hoss in that show, and it was a nickname of mine that kind of just stuck. A lot of people call me Hoss and stuff like that, so I just was like, well, how do I make something that kind of ties my brand? Because I was like, it's kind of weird to say Bing, like my last name, or my first name, and like Cody Johnson. I said this one other time in an interview. I think it was a while back. I said, Cody did Kojo. He took his first couple letters of his first and last name, and he made Kojo Nation. But I couldn't really do, BRBI. So I was like, that don't really sound right. So I went with Hoss. I came up with Hoss Nation, and it rolled off well, and it also really fit into the dynamic of my lane and my niche that I'm trying to build for myself.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just like I said, it's just this raw, uncut, rowdy yet help your neighbor out, loving kind of synergy. And it's just a culture. It's like a village or a tribe. It's a really cool dynamic, because depending on where I am in the country and the people I meet in different places, their interpretation is different, but they all hit those terms that I'm mentioning or throwing out. And I got my website, brandonbingmusic.com, so a lot of stuff be updated on there. Unfortunately, there's no show updates on there because they keep canceling everything.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
yeah, the Swanee River Jam was the biggest festival I was going to be playing in this year, and that got rescheduled from this past Cinco de Mayo weekend to the September 30th to October 3rd, and they just moved it again to April 28th to May 1st of next year.
Perfect.
So I don't know who's going to be new music that I just cut. I cut my EP, The Florida Man, and my single Sunday Fun Day are out on iTunes and Spotify, all major platforms right now. But I
Absolutely.
have a new project that I just cut last month, and I'm super excited about it. Like, it's just totally another level and another layer of the onion. So I'm anxious to get that out. I'm working with my team up in Nashville to figure out a strategy of how we're going to roll it out, and I'll be making updates. So if you're not following me or anything like that, feel free to follow me on Facebook or Instagram, Brandon Bing Music. Find me on YouTube under Brandon Bing Music. Twitter is under the Hoss Music, and then of course I have my own whiskey, which is Stockyard Whiskey, and that's on Facebook and Instagram with the website links. And I have my own music publishing company, which is Dirty Bird South Music. So got my hands in a lot
Fantastic.
of different pots, but yeah, give my music a listen, and I appreciate anybody that's willing to listen and share it and support it. And hopefully, I get to meet anybody that does become a fan, or in my case, like I like to say, a member of the Hoss Nation
Yeah,
family at a
exactly.
show, and we'll just have a good time and hopefully make some cool memories for the book.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. And like I said, that's I appreciate you doing this interview. That's gonna do it. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to talk with me.
Hey man, I appreciate you, and yeah, send me a message, and I'll send something out to you as well.